The only one I got is
You can hear me, Hollywood? Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop my video and just let Hollywood have it. First thing I want to do is just let you guys know that we appreciate all of you that are here, and the channel again continues. We have had some issues in the past here with bots and pornos and whatever else for the last couple of weeks that we've been battling, and we think we've kind of got that figured out. Again, this is a private member association, and all those members that come here agree to the contract as they come into the site. You must first get to the site through the invite link, and then go to the pinned messages, and you can find the other locations via a docx Word document. Disclaimer for tonight is basically this is a private channel, and this is educational purposes only. I'm going to open it up to Hollywood here and just have her go through the thing. We talked about a few things, and I might just let her go through. Again, this is W4 PMA talking about the W4 processes. And we titled this one here, Why Controversy? And then we'll have a little Q&A at the end. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and cancel my video. And I mean, was I doing video? Okay, I wasn't even doing video. Here we go. Now I'm gonna cancel my video and just let Holly run with it, and I'll just kind of chime in here a little bit as we go along. And Hollywood, good to see you back again, girl. I know you're out on the road again. Just be safe out there, and just let us know what we can do. It's all you, baby. Go ahead.
Hey, everybody. So we called a meeting tonight to kind of be able to answer some questions and talk about controversy. So basically, I don't see any controversy. I don't care what I get back in the mail. I don't see the controversy in it. We're creditors. We have unlimited credit. Use it. Doesn't matter how many zeros are on the bill. You know, you don't see any controversy. One thing Smoking Baby taught me is that these conditional acceptances, that automatically is creating controversy and making you the debtor. So I would advise everybody to stay away from the conditional acceptances and go straight just for the acceptance. And that's it. That's really all I got as far as the controversy goes. Don't create it. Don't bring it. Stay asking questions. And you should be in a safe zone there.
And Hollywood, the next thing we were going to discuss here was basically the conditional acceptance is possibly being a debtor, or accepting it as being a debtor when you do the conditional acceptance. Basically, you change your status from a creditor to a debtor.
Yeah, that's all depends on how you handle all your offers. Everything that comes in the mail is an offer. You have 3 ways to respond to all offers. You can accept, refuse, or conditionally accept. Well, we're learning now that that conditional acceptance is just as bad as a refusal. Both of those are making people debtors. I've been guilty of it. I've used conditional acceptances. I'm not saying that it went bad every time. I've had success, but I would stay away from them. Now, with what I've learned now, we don't need to argue anything or create any controversy, just accept everything. I did like Smoking Baby's idea of renegotiating an amount. I think that if you can renegotiate an amount, staying in the asking question realm, you should be fine not creating controversy. As soon as you start creating controversy or arguing, we all know that's what lawyers are paid to do, create controversy and argue. That's why cases never get settled, because as long as everybody's arguing, there can never be an agreement between the parties. All we want to do is just set off, collapse, and close a case, and you can't do that without agreements. So your status is going to depend on how you respond to all your offers that you get. And also, a default is really important in that as well. And also, defaults and counterclaims. Creditors always file counterclaims, and typically are always the one that puts the other party in default. So if we're perfecting our defaults and we're creating counterclaims anytime that we're sued, we should be good to just go in and close the case without any controversy. So status is all dependent on how you respond. Not all dependent, okay? Not all. That's impossible. But status depends a lot on how you respond to all your offers, for sure. Mm-hmm.
And we're also acknowledging that the contracts are actually, you would classify it as money, or where the money's at.
Yeah, contracts are the money for sure. Mm-hmm. Yep. And if you're defaulting on contracts, we should be able to liquidate those, which is what I'm working on. I've done. So we'll see what happens with it.
And so therefore there's no issue about rescinding driver's licenses or signatures or anything like that. Can you go into that a little bit?
I don't do any of that because I like contracts. I like my signature on stuff. I'm not afraid of my signature. I'm not afraid of contracts. I'm not afraid of my social. All those things are money. They're all W4able. They're all your credits. And no, I don't do any of that. As a matter of fact, creditors have credentials, which is a driver's license or a TWIC card or merchant sailor, mariner license, Coast Guard. All those things are credentials. I say, instead of getting out of it, dive deeper in.
Well, then speaking of diving deeper in, I think we were listed for a final discussion point here was the 1522s and the 3500. And then we would open up to a Q&A. So if you want to touch on that a little bit right now, and then we'll just follow through with the Q&A.
So specifically, are you talking about what on the 1522 and the 3500?
Well, just, I don't want to get into my particular circumstance right now, but just the idea that is where we turn in our receipts, and that's where the counting goes to when we're doing like our credit reports and those kinds of things.
Where the accounting goes to?
Well, just elaborate on the 1522 and the 3500 and the use.
So we're using the 1522. I like those for all register mail numbers, certified mail numbers, bill of lading numbers, green card numbers. Maybe if somebody is using a silver certificate or a gold certificate, I have these gold plated certificates, or anything that doesn't really you don't need to put the value amount on it because that relationship already exists, right? Like a Federal Reserve note, it's got the serial number on it. You don't need to put a dollar amount on it because the relationship between the serial number and the form people already exists. So I'm using the 1522 for relationships that already exist where that amount isn't necessarily needed. Now on the 3500, you see there's a spot for an amount. So I'm using that for like paper register receipts, where that relationship wouldn't really exist as much as say between the Department of Treasury and the Federal Reserve Bank printing and issuing the notes.
Okay. I just want to remind everybody now, we'll just go ahead and open up for a Q&A, but I just want to remind everybody here that there is a delay and that there's no control over here as far as who can speak over who. So, and I'm not going to try, what I'm basically saying is, I'm not controlling the call for someone to raise their hand or whatever else. But I would like that you just give it a few seconds between callers and questions so that people can ask a question without being interrupted. And if anybody has any questions, go ahead and bring them forward, and we'll just take them one at a time.
Hi, I have a couple questions, and this all pertains to, well, I have two questions. The first of all is, and I've asked this probably a couple times in some other chats, but I just want to make sure that I'm doing it right. So I'm going to be mailing off my first W-4s, and I'm just curious about the postal. Are we supposed to be using $21 of stamps, or how should we be sending this stuff to the IRS? And is this going to be the postal amount or the postal process? Is that the same? I know the address differs between the W-4 versus the 1522 and the 3500, but I've heard about 4 different ways of possibly mailing these things.
I would say stay within your means. You know, if you, I would say the most expensive way would be the 21 international stamps, and the cheapest way would be the tax per Q. I don't want to take a risk on the tax per Q. I rather just ensure that my envelope gets there. If I have the extra, if I can afford the extra money to do the 21 international stamps, do it. If you can't, just get it there. As long as you have the 2 witnesses at the post office is really what's important, which would be, you know, your green card and then your firm book. The firm book stamp is $1.50. So, you know, we're talking about, you know, under $10 you can do this.
Okay, and is that assuming like it's just, you know, like one of the 8x11 manila envelope, or? Okay, so I should go to the post office and ask for a firm book. And what would I do there? I'm sorry.
Yeah, specifically the 3877.
Okay.
I also use the 3854, but they don't like to always come off one or the other. So if I could get either one, I'm having a good day.
Okay, so let's say I go to the post office with my envelope. What would I do when I'm there?
I always come with everything prepared. My green card's already attached. I have the address under the green card, so it's twice. It's on the envelope and then covered with the green card. I have all that made out. I have the correct slip, whether I'm doing, you know, registered mail or certified mail. I have that already. I endorse the back of that slip. I have the register mail number I like to write on my documents. And I would never allow the post office to print any metered amount on my envelope. So when they print my meter stamp, it's going to be 0.00. All my postage is with stamps. And then I would bring the firm book and I would pay the extra $1.50 for the certified mailing, or the what's it called? Certificate of mailing.
Okay.
And they can be ugly about that, in which case then I just they all wear a name tag, so I just write their name. I don't bring any controversy. I just write their name and who did it. You know, I'm just not trying to create any controversy, so I just take the information that I'm given at the register and I record it. in the firm book. And also, I think if you have an issue getting a firm book, I believe you can print both of those forms off in a paper format before you go. And I also send copies of that page, that 3877 or the 54, the 3854, in with my mailing. So
Okay.
it's almost like when you go to the post office, you're almost ready to send it, right? Because now you got to get the thing that they signed off on or stamped with their register, or I've had them stamp it. Smoking Baby has them run a a register printer over it. I've had them create controversy over stamping it, so I just recorded it. But that document, I like to PDF it with my phone real quick and then submit it with the envelope.
Okay. Okay. That's good to know. And then my second question is, I was working on my credit report, and I have some electric or some utility bills, 3 of them that were already closed. They were closed a few years ago. And then I have one that's open. So from your perspective, should I, on the closed ones, run those out to 75 years, but on the open one, only do, through like this month? I mean,
For,
go ahead.
for a utility bill?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that. I was just doing that on employers. I didn't know you were doing that
Oh,
on utility bills. It could
oh,
be. I don't know where you heard that. Yeah, you guys may be doing that. Whatever you're comfortable with, that's where you stay. I haven't done 75 years on a utility bill, but that doesn't mean I won't.
okay. So would you, okay, so I guess with my utility, I'll just do, through actual, but so through employer, you would do 75-year, but would you do them like with your 401k and your retirement accounts too, if they
Oh,
were closed,
those are
or
good
no?
questions. Those are questions for Smoking Baby. I didn't know about that 75 years. Smoking Baby is the one who knows about that.
Okay. Okay. Those are all the questions I have right now. Thank you.
Yep.
Hi, Hollywood. It's Guardian of Light. Hope you're well. I did a W-4 sandwich on an attorney firm and a credit card company, and I got a check in the mail, which I was shocked about. But it didn't really specify. It was like a general statement for interest of fees. Now, this credit card account was closed, and I think I had it for maybe 15, 20 years. And I called them. And of course, they tried to pawn me off to the attorney. And I said, no, you sent me the check. Can you please explain to me what this check is in regards? And being that when you call the customer service level, they don't really know too much, but she read word for word off the screen that it had to do with interest fees. I said, but it didn't give a time period. What was it based on? She couldn't answer me. And apparently someone's going to call me back. Probably not. But my question is, that was the verification because they verified that the account was being audited. So I'm wondering, because I am new to this and I've probably done at least over 30 W-4 sandwiches now. When we do this, and let's say the IRS calls the credit card company to audit it, do we get a final report from anyone as to, what the conclusion is and, the overall forensic on what they did?
I'm still waiting to get the answer to that myself.
Because for me to receive a check but not really tell me what it's specifically for, from what date to what date, and if I understand correctly, maybe you or someone can elaborate, because this is still new to me, the IRS gets 13% of what they recover, right?
Allegedly, yeah, that's what my understanding. Yep.
Do
With
they get the
interest.
they get the 13% from what they recover from me, or the 13% they charge for doing the audit with the credit card company?
No, the 13% that they bill the Fortune 500 company or the employer. So they're going to bill the employer, right?
Right. Okay.
Plus interest, and then keep 13%.
Yeah. So how would you know if the IRS is done with their audit? Do they send you a letter?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I guess we just have to keep records.
Yeah, we're all in this together. We all started at the same time. We're all learning as we go.
Okay.
Nobody, I don't think anybody's had the final conclusion yet. I think that could take, well, the letter that I read from like the head of the Internal Revenue Service, I think it was issued in the 80s, said 5 years, expect 5 years, and expect the returns not to impact the workforce. And I believe they said that because it's just going to be a recycling of the credits, right?
All right. So let me process what you're saying. There was a letter that you came across that was in the 1980s, and it said expect 5 years. What does that mean?
to complete the audit.
So you're telling me for every W-4 sandwich I send out, it's going to be 5 years
No,
on average?
I'm not telling you that's what it is now. I'm telling you that back in the 80s, before computers, that's what the head of the Internal Revenue Service sent out to all of the branches managers.
Oh, wow.
On how to process these quietly, it said in the letter, and as quickly as possible, but that it could take 5 years and it wouldn't impact the workforce.
Okay. So that would be the maximum, but considering the last 20, 30 years, they probably upgraded their software system.
I would think
Okay.
so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Hello. Hi. This is in regards to my credit report, and I'm trying to W-4 my student loan. I guess I'm running into, I don't understand on the student loans like I had it since 2014. Now, would I add up all the amounts for each month of each year and W-4 it that way, or would I do a W-4 for the whole year of 2014, then a whole year of 2015, all the way up to current?
You bring it all current. So just add everything up, both sides of the ledger, the charges, what they billed you, plus add it to what you paid. Late fees, add those. Interest fees, add those. Add everything up, both
Would
sides,
just
and do it on a 2021 for this year.
Okay, so just so I understand correctly, so for like 2019, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay,
So for
so
for
just
2019, 20, and 21, you can add all three of those up and put those on a W-4 sandwich for the year 2021.
for each month, like for my student loans, $139,000.
It's probably, if you add both sides of the ledger, it's probably more than double that.
When you say both sides of the ledger, I'm looking at my credit report. So it's just like 11/2019. It has a scheduled payment, and then it has a balance, and
You
then
add it all.
so I add that, then I add 12/2019. Just go through each month. So it'd be 130,000 per month, all the way up to current.
I don't know what the amount would be, as long as you're adding every number on the page, because it's all your credit.
Got
Even
you.
if it appears to be a balance, or it appears to be a late fee, or it appears to be a charge, or it appears to be a payment, not the issue. The issue is that it's all your credit.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I was
Yep.
just wondering if I was doing, I'm like, this is a big number. Am I doing this right? Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Holly. In the event that in the event that we assess the amounts up until 72 years for women, and the account is still open, and we performed an assessment over the account, what should we do in the event that, we don't know when the IRS is going to do their audit, but we're still receiving bills in the mail?
I would accept, endorse, and return the bills. Send the originals to Treasury and copies to the corporation issuing the bill, and submit that bill with the W-4 sandwich. And if they are still threatening to cut off power or whatever threats they're making, I report those threats to TIGTA, because the amount that they're requesting you pay is a tax. It's an excise tax. And if you snooped around on the TIGTA website, you see that that's where you report corporations who are demanding tax payments, or, demanding payments and making threats, right? So if you don't get remedy by the acceptance, endorsement, and the returning of the statement along with the W-4 sandwich, send the whole packet to TIGTA.
So when we go to TIGTA, because I've navigated TIGTA and I've went to the complaint section, but there's like 10 different boxes to choose from. Which one do we choose?
It's a tax issue. It's always a tax issue.
Okay.
And most of the time they're making threats. So I think one of your options has the word tax and threat in the same box.
Yeah.
Probably the one. Mm-hmm.
I've seen that.
Yep. That's the one I pick. I mean, I'm not saying everybody has to pick what I pick, but that's what I pick. And I did just do that on 9 corporations about 3 weeks ago. I did it on 9 assholes, and they all stemmed from one traffic ticket for being off of a commercial truck route. And so I did the cop, the department that he works for, the clerk, the district attorney, I think the attorney that showed up. There was a few other ones, the names of the corporations, right? So I reported all 9. There was 9 to TIGTA because they were demanding $300 payment, or else the threat of the license suspension and the warrant. And I had 20 days to pay. So I guess maybe on the 15th or something day, I reported all 9 to TIGTA, and I just had my license ran today, and it's still good. There's no violations. There's no off the truck route ticket showing up. There's no license suspension in North Carolina or anywhere else. And as far as I know, I mean, how could there be a warrant? I'm not even worried if there's even a warrant. I'm not. I mean, I'm not worried about it. So it really does work. And then that's not even the first time that I ever filed with TIGTA. The first time I filed on TIGTA, I filed against the IRS because I W-4 sandwiched the IRS for a $711,400 withholding that the IRS is withholding from me. And I haven't gotten a determination since last tax year. And so I filed a TIGTA report on the IRS. And right away, I got a letter respectfully requesting 60 more days to review the account, which still haven't heard anything. So, I mean, whatever. It's the IRS. They're going to do whatever they want.
So, Hollywood, listening to what you're sharing, so my electricity was turned off. I was going to send them a letter. I was putting together a letter today, but your advice is to file a TIGTA report and then just send everything that I've already sent to the U.S. Treasury, send a copy to them.
Yeah. Did you accept, endorse, and return all the bills?
Well, I accepted and endorsed it and did a W-4 sandwich, but you're saying return it back to the utilities company?
Not the W-4 sandwich.
Just the bill itself?
Sure, and tell them to set off, settle, collapse, and close it, or else, you may issue the, the fiduciary, the 56 on the CEO. Maybe you do that right away.
Okay. The 56F form, right?
The fiduciary appointments, yeah, those are pretty powerful.
Yeah, I know. I've used them already in my court case. Not that I thought it would be a little bit more powerful in my court case, but we'll see. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say, Hollywood, that you return coupons direct to the Treasury at one point? I was just wondering what that process is, as a couple of companies sending me bills with coupons attached to them don't know how to, or claim they don't know how to process the coupons. Thank you.
We went over that, I think, in the first Friday night video. If you want to pull up the video, you see how the bill is, 3/4 of the paper and the coupon is at the bottom. You can see how it's a bill from the Minnesota Department of Revenue acting as a collection agency for the courthouse and the student loan. And you can see how that coupon was then turned into a money order. And then you can even see the zero balance letter issued from the Minnesota Department of Revenue. You can kind of see the books balance to zero in that very first video. And yep, I haven't had any problems with returning coupons made into money orders.
Thank you. I'll go find that video. And to clarify, you're sending those money order coupons to the Treasury or back to the company concerned? Thank you.
Well, I send to both. I send the original to Treasury and the copy to the alleged creditor.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Yep. And then I even put on my acceptance on the front, I even put, C. Allange 1 W4, C. Allange 2 1040, C. Allange 3 1040V. And I don't send those, but I refer to them as Allanges on the front of the acceptance. I think I even made a chief executor box on that where I put our own serial numbers to record our coupons. I got a little extra with it, but yeah, I don't think you have to do all that.
Thanks very much. And is there a way to I was thinking maybe issue a promissory note or something, but we've already issued a letter of credit in the application, because
True.
I'm not keen to have to send these off every month. How do you avoid having to send these off every month is my question effectively. Thank you.
So the letter of credit would be like the application, right? W4, the application for the service would be one good way to avoid the monthly nuisance. Another good way to avoid the monthly nuisance would be a chargeback, charge them back for the nuisance. Another good way to avoid the nuisance is turn even the envelope in for the Treasury. I've noticed there are dollar signs hidden on a lot of those envelopes. Does that mean there's money inside? Oh, I kind of think so. So return it all back to Treasury and tell Treasury to deal with it. And if you're still getting bothered every month after you've done the 56F, you've appointed the CEO as the fiduciary to balance the books, and you're still getting bothered, send it all into TIGTA. TIGTA is definitely our enforcers, I believe.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
Hollywood, just so I understand you clearly, you're saying charge back for the nuisance and charge back the envelopes. Can you elaborate further what you're referring to?
Sure. So it's two separate issues. So one, the chargeback is just business as usual. I'm charging you for my time, my stamp, my envelope, my paper, my ink, my intellectual property, my thoughts, my intellectual thoughts, my words on that page. I'm sitting here creating a billing on a bill of lading and just charging them back, and then defaulting them obviously on the bill. That's one way to let them know that you're the creditor, they're the debtor, put them in their place, and then be able to hopefully liquidate that contract, right? The application, which we know is a line of credit, a letter of credit. And then the envelope. So this is my thoughts on the envelope. I was listening to Izzy. Who is he? And he was teaching about the envelopes. And then that got me thinking about, I've been a long time user of Pacer ID for United States District Court. I like to research and read cases. And I noticed that the clerks for those courts don't just publish the front side, the public side of the document. They also do the private side, the back side of the document, and they also publish the envelopes. So it really got me thinking, like, there must be something more with these envelopes. Now Izzy's coming and saying that the dollar sign could potentially, if I understood correctly, means that there's money inside that envelope. Well, it makes me think like some of that must be true, or why would the bank, United States District Courthouse, be lodging an envelope? So I'm returning envelopes back to Treasury as well.
When you return those envelopes, do you return them with the W-4 sandwich packet
Yeah.
as well? Oh, because
Yeah.
I put them separate. I was.
Well, I don't
All
think
right.
it matters.
So now I know moving forward. What if you just do a W-4 sandwich on envelopes?
I did that.
And what happened?
Well, it was just part of my W-4 process.
Did you get some form of remedy that you want to share with us? Or was this something that was done recently?
No, I posted a video of it. There's a video of what I did with a credit card envelope because I heard Hollywood and them talking about it. And I stamped the front and back of everything because the envelope is the only thing that has your name on it. And I stamped the front and back of every piece of information that's in the envelope, plus the envelope, and W-4'd it. It's in the video. It's in the media.
What's the name of the video?
Well, I have no idea. It's just one of my videos that I showed.
Do they have a special file for Chris Matlock and his videos?
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have a file on me, but I don't think this group does.
Funny.
No, let me interject here, please. Those files are in the library. The video files are in the library, and you can see them by going to the library. And in fact, this video will be uploaded to the library as soon as the call is over with.
Thank you.
I have a question on the envelopes. If you don't have the company name, a lot of the envelopes just have a window because the bill itself or the coupon portion has your name and address. So I've got a stack of envelopes, but it doesn't always say who actually sent it to me. And it doesn't have that it's addressed to me. Could I do a W-4 sandwich with just all of these envelopes and let them figure out who sent them by the barcodes that are on them?
I would.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
I know that one girl was on the channel one time and she said each envelope is $300 to her. So that piqued my interest. She said every envelope she gets, it's $300 that she gets.
Yeah, I recall who is he speaking about that too. He said you can send the envelopes to the postmaster. And they'll know what to do with them. I don't know what they're gonna do, but he said they'll know what to do with those envelopes.
Considering the disarray with the post office, the postmaster I know, I wouldn't even trust giving her a piece of paper. I hate to say it. I think the safest thing is for the U.S. Treasury.
Ollie, can you clarify more about the Form 56 fiduciary? There's like 3 parts on there, and I don't know if all parts are supposed to be filled out or something, but one of them, the last one's like court appearances or something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but I don't have the form in front of me. I would say if it makes sense to fill it out, fill it out. But that's where you're going to basically give your instructions, You want who to do what. So just like when you go into court and the judge appoints someone, an attorney, that's an appointment, right? So if judges have the power and authority to do appointments, so do we. So I would use that to do my appointment and then give my instructions and then fill out whatever parts are, pertinent to your case.
I just wanted to add, in my research, I found that the most updated 56 form is the 56F. And I do have a draft of how to fill it out. So tomorrow I will download it so people can review it and use it as a sample.
That'd be great. That was my next question, is if there was a sample somewhere to look at. So appreciate it. Thanks, Holly.
Hi, Holly. If we can go back a little bit to the envelope, I want to share something that I saw on one of my envelopes. I came into a chat with Izzy, and they were talking about the envelopes, but I only got like the ending of it. And then I posted a question of how to participate in the postal channel, and I haven't received an answer yet. But I was in another chat or another call, and I believe somebody was talking about converting or flipping the address and to make it like a foreign address. So a friend and I started to play with the address, and what we did is we flipped our address and we did we did 3 letters, 3 envelopes, and we mailed it to each other. So the first one came in with, the zip code in brackets, and that one didn't have any barcode at the bottom. Then we did one with no zip code, and that one did have a barcode, but no dollar amount. The inverted address actually came back and it had $9,999. Okay. So then I asked her it was my turn to send it out to her. So I did the same thing, and none of hers had any barcode or any money at the bottom. So I said, let me try another thing, because those were dropped at the post office. And I said, how did you do yours? And she said she put them in her mailbox outside her house. So I said to her, do 3 more, put them outside for the mailman to pick it up, and then let's see what happens. But don't send them out together. Wait a couple of days. So I received all 3, and they were picked up from her mailbox, and all of them have $9,999. So what I'm thinking is, since we are the creditors, we're assuming our home is the bank, and the mailman picking it up is the armored truck. And he took it to the post office, and that's why it was with a barcode. I mean, not with a barcode, but with the numbers in the bottom with 9,999. And I've tried this with people who live in Wisconsin, Florida, and Texas, and my friends are getting dollar amounts based on the last 4 digits of that are after the zip code. So anything that comes in from the state gives you that dollar amount. The last 4 digits is a dollar amount. Anything that's coming in from unemployment or anything like that is creating double the amount, and it does have that dollar sign. So I have all these envelopes with $9,999, but I don't know what to do. I mean, I know that there's some forms to take to the postmaster, but I really don't know what to even say or what to do.
This is maybe where we would record that on a 1522. Just a thought, right? Because the 1522, there's no reason to assume the dollar amount. That relationship already exists. So I don't know. That's just a thought that comes to my head. And maybe they go with a W-4 sandwich as well. I don't know.
If we were to do the sandwich, what dollar amount? I mean, on the ones that have the dollar amount, I understand that. But like the other lady was mentioning, there's some that just have a window and they have no dollar amount, just they have the Pitney Bowes, labeling or the first class. What value do you give those?
I don't know.
It really wouldn't matter what value, though, right? If you send a message saying, I'm doing this to the best of my ability. If I've made a mistake, please correct it. Please let me know, blah, blah, blah. The others are 9,000, 909,000, whatever. Make them all that and see what they do.
I'm wondering if you should W4 the United States Postal Service with those envelopes.
Can I say something? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just jumped on the call, and I just took a look at an envelope that I just got back from Geico Insurance. I'm here in California, and it came to general delivery, and I'm looking at it, and sure enough, it has the $ with $9,999 on it. That's crazy.
Yeah, keep going with Geico. Geico has now returned to me. The dollar amount is a line with a $sign with the word mill after it. So essentially, I can write in my own numbers.
But
Millions.
I guess my question, because she said mine's is coming to general delivery, and I'm wondering if that has any bearing as well.
Mine was through a trust and estate.
Wow. That's amazing that I just looked down there and saw. I just picked it up today from general delivery and just hopped on the call. So just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Yeah, very exciting. Thanks for sharing.
So what could you actually use that for?
I don't know. One lady was saying take it to a brokerage firm. I don't know. I've got a stack of them. I haven't done anything with them except W4 Sandwich.
Is that your insurance, like through car insurance or like medical insurance?
No, it's car.
It's car. Okay. And essentially what did you do? You did like a 1099A at a specific amount or something, or?
I actually think I said see Allonge 1099A. This was years before I knew about the W4 Sandwich. So I just started like the first lady that said that she got something general mail delivery and it was odd. I just started with like turning the money, the bills into the coupons into money orders and accepting, endorsing. I just started that stuff and I didn't stop. And first the coverage was for the normal amount, right? You got the 50,000, 75,000, 100,000, whatever it is. It was just normal, right? Like everybody else's. And then I saw that amount go up. And then it went to so many millions. And then it ended up being a blank number millions. So I just kept playing with it. And now I don't even understand. So this one lady said, take it to a brokerage firm, but I haven't done that. I haven't done anything except just W4 Sandwich it.
Okay, but that was initially using the 1099A, but not the W4, right?
I didn't 1099A it. I just said see Allonge 1099A.
Oh,
I just
okay.
put them on notice that I might file a tax form on here, but I really wasn't sure what I was doing.
Interesting.
So I never did
gotcha.
it. But I did do the W4 Sandwich.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, see, I sent my W4 sandwich in a long time ago, and I didn't get any response from any of them at all. So, I'm assuming I sent it to where Smoking Baby said to send it to, I think along with a lot of people, but then later on in one of the posts, I hear him say, well, the Washington D.C. is all closed down, so I don't know whether I need to resubmit them again to the IRS, like a actual IRS address.
I don't think Washington D.C. is I don't think closed down is the correct terminology. I would say that it's being guarded by our military. I think that's probably more accurate. But so I think what's happening is people that filed right away, like the end of last last year, maybe getting sooner results, because shortly after all of us filing at the end of last year, a bunch of people started filing. So I think if you're just patient and just be patient, because I got on right at the beginning before everybody started filing. So I saw results on December 20th. I saw results. So I think just be patient and just don't forget to recognize even the small successes, because those are still success, and try not to overlook them.
Right. Okay.
Hollywood,
Okay.
I was looking at my
I was just going to ask. I was the one that
I
had
was
it
looking at my
from Geico. I did have 9999 for the general delivery, and I hadn't done any types of converting of the remittance into a money order.
Yeah, it may be the general delivery issue. Like mine was trust and estate issue.
Oh, okay. Just curious, because I hadn't even gotten to that part yet. I'm preparing to attempt it, but I hadn't done it yet. So it was just
Yeah,
amazing. Thank you.
Geico was probably one of the most exciting paperwork learning experiences that I've, besides like winning in court. But I mean, like Geico was one of the funner bills to play with.
How so? How so? What
Did you hear what I said?
was
They're
special
sending
about
me.
Geico?
They're sending me open-ended bonds where I can fill in my $1 million amount.
Oh, gotcha. All right, makes sense. That is exciting.
Okay, I need to interject here one thing. If you're using a phone with the speaker connection on it, it's going to cause feedback, as you can hear the echo of Holly speaking in here. So we'd appreciate it if you would just mute your mics or whatever else when you're not speaking. Thank you.
It's me again, Tawana. I have a question again about the credit report. I think as far as like the inquiries on the credit reports, do you use W4 them as well? Okay.
Yeah, the
All right.
hard and the soft pulls. I W4 everything on that credit report.
And there's
Even
not an amount or anything that's
right,
blank?
that's when you assess your own value. Like for example, when I was getting my Goldman Sachs card, I kept submitting all the correct documents, and Goldman Sachs kept refusing it. 6 times they hit my credit and didn't accept it. And so I called them and I'm like, so, how much are you guys really hitting this account for all 6 times? I need a detailed accounting. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to assume each one was 6 million. And that was the last refusal I ever had. It was immediately accepted after I did that. So you assess your own value.
Oh, okay. On all of them, the soft and hard pulls. Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
And the refusals. Yeah.
How do you know which ones were refused?
The decline letters, right?
Oh, and I just bought a house, so I got a couple of declines from some mortgage companies. Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
You mean you accept them? You accept the decline letters? Oh,
I got some decline letters, but especially like I threw those away because that was been a couple of months ago, but I did my car and I did receive where they actually applied for different companies for a car and I got decline letters. Now for those actual letters that said, we didn't offer you because of whatever reasons, and they give the reasons why. What do you do with that letter? You accept it for value and then you send W4 it and send it to the Treasury as well? Okay, thank you.
okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I was asking you. Okay.
And
Do
then
you give it a
you assess the value. I think we're about to ask the same question.
yeah?
You
Do you give
assess
it a
the
value?
value of what you. Okay. Just whatever you think it is. Okay, thanks.
Hi, Hollywood. Is your Goldman Sachs card? Is it a credit card, or what kind of card is it?
It's the white titanium credit card.
Oh, it's a white titanium. I mean, is there a difference between the white titanium credit card and any other type of credit card?
Oh yeah, nobody's ever seen anything like it. It doesn't have any numbers on it.
So it's like an unlimited type of situation.
I don't know. Allegedly, it has a limit, but I noticed that I'm allowed to spend over the limit. I don't know.
Have you ever used it?
Oh yeah, I maxed it out. I thought I maxed
Oh.
it out, but it went over the limit, and I stopped spending. I just paid it off.
When you say you paid it off, did you send a coupon back?
I don't get a bill for that card.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
If I do, I haven't got one yet, and that would be odd. And I'm hoping that because my post office sucks, that I am going to get a bill so that I can do that, but I haven't got one yet.
Hollywood, earlier you spoke about the 1522 and the 3500. I just wrote notes down. Turning in the receipts. You mentioned registered mail, certified mail, green card, and the gold number. Could you explain to me what you were referring to regarding that?
The gold number doesn't ring a bell, but so what I'm trying to say is the 1522 and the 3500, there's a big difference. And the difference is on the 3500, there's a room for the dollar amount. So that tells me that we record things on that form where the relationship between the security that we're recording and the issuer of the form doesn't exist per se. Now, if you look at the 1522, there's no room for an amount, which tells me that there's certain things that we can record on that where we don't need an amount because the relationship already exists, say between the post office, right? The post office and the Department of Treasury, that relationship exists. So if with just the register mail number on that 1522, the amount is automatically available to the receivers of the 1522. It wouldn't be necessary to put a dollar amount on the 1522 side because we're going to use that for pieces of paper where I believe that the relationship already exists.
So if I were to do a 1522, because I do save my registered mail and certified and things like that, I could file that with the 1522. Forgive me, because I haven't officially submitted one yet. If I were to do that, would I still need to file it with the 3500?
No, that's just an extension form.
Okay.
But
Okay.
let's think about a Federal Reserve note, right? Pull out a Federal Reserve note and match up the words on that Federal Reserve note to the 1522. I mean, it's got the year on it and it's got the serial number, the two things that the 1522 asks for. Doesn't need an amount because the relationship already exists. So I almost even would consider recording Federal Reserve note serial numbers on the 1522 because I don't need to record the amount.
So if one decided to record the numbers off of Federal Reserve notes, do they need to submit a copy of where they got those numbers from?
I wouldn't think so, no.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
I mean, you can, I guess, sure. But you're
That's
just, you're, so what I'm doing is I'm saying this is in my possession. I've come into it. It's debt. I'm now the transferor of the debt. This is the number on it. This is the year. Now I'm transporting the debt back to you. What are you going to do with it? If you want to make a copy of it, I think that's illegal.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just wondering because we want to make sure we keep a copy of everything. It can't be just that easy with a Federal Reserve note, can it?
I don't know. I haven't done it. It just makes sense because the 1522 form matches up with the identifying numbers on the Federal Reserve note.
Okay,
I'll be
so
the
I'm
guinea
gonna
pig. I'll be the guinea pig.
so I'm gonna share a story. I did mention this previously a while ago. There is a friend, a member on the PMA group who filed a 1522 and a 3500, and he used the 1522 and reported his court case. No, he wrote 1522. He said see attached, and then the 3500 he added he put the receipts from his court case and the amounts. That could be another option for someone to use that process, right? Wow. So it's not technically just the 15, when we hear 1522 3500 process, it doesn't necessarily mean just for receipts.
Oh no, that we can tell by how different those two forms are.
Okay.
They go together, but they're really different, you know. Now
Yeah.
that makes me think that 1522, okay, there's nowhere for an amount, and it's impossible for us to know how much a case is worth. So it only
Mhm.
makes sense to put the case number and the year and the date on it and send it. Yeah.
So in addition to doing doing a 1522 and a 3500, doing a W4 sandwich, and possibly doing a 1099A as you as the lender, those are three separate processes, but that helps. I guess I don't want to. I'm not sure if this term is accurate, but balance the debt or clear.
I'm not an accountant for the IRS. I don't know. I know that anytime that I'm using a 1099A, I'm reporting to my principal. As long as
Right.
I'm reporting to my principal, then and that's all I'm doing with that, I'm okay. And I've used 1099As to report to my principal without any controversy, without any frivolous filings, without any bills or I owe anybody. I've never had an issue, but I only use 1099As to report to my principal. And so
I guess what I'm trying to say is there are various options in reporting on one. Let's use the example of the credit card issue I had. I could do the 1522 3500, then I did the W4 sandwich, and if I wanted to, I could do the 1099A as the lender and the credit card company as the borrower. So there's various options one could utilize in reporting.
You're just reporting to your principal, right? How much you've paid.
Yeah.
Why that's what that form is for.
Right. I'm just saying that because I'm grasping all of this and putting the puzzle together, and maybe other people are not aware of that, but it's all slowly coming together.
So that 1099A, should that be recorded also after we file?
I don't know what you mean recorded. You see it's a carbon copy, it gets sent off several places.
Okay, so if we do the 1099A online, it'll automatically go out once we say, okay, go to, whoever. So should we still take that, just a copy for ourselves and get that recorded on the county level?
I don't know. I've never done that.
Okay. Because if the company says, okay, payment wasn't made, we have the 1099A to prove that there was payment made because I, as a creditor.
When you say recorded, you mean you would bring it in as evidence?
No, just to put it on record.
I would. I would use it as evidence if I was being sued for, say, the debt not being paid, like child support's a big one. You know, I would bring in every tool in my toolbox, anything that's submitted to the IRS, including the 1099-A as evidence. Yeah, I would.
All right.
Hi, Holly. It's Maddie. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I sent the letter for request accounting to one of my credit cards, and I received a letter back from them stating that they received my credit dispute, that I'm claiming that they're committing fraud, and if so, in order for them to proceed with the claim, I didn't do any claim. All I did was send them the letter to request accounting, and they want my name, my social, and my birth date.
Yeah,
Since I'm supposedly claiming.
Yeah, you need to let them know that you're not creating any controversy or disputing, or it's not a refusal to pay, nor are you disputing anything.
Okay.
You're simply just asking for a detailed accounting. You need to correct that record.
Exactly, because they're trying to avoid giving me that. I've already asked them.
I would say that
by email and then in writing, and
I would say that their intentions supersede avoidance. They're doing a few more things in avoidance that concerns me. Number one, they're putting you as the debtor, and number two, they're automatically putting you in default. Bad.
Exactly.
So we need to correct that record.
Okay. And should I be sending them a letter of default, also a notice of default?
Yeah, if you have them in default, or if you can default them, you need to default them prior to them defaulting you.
Exactly. Okay, I will. Thank you.
Yep.
Hi, I have a
Holly,
question. Oh, who's going to go first?
just 1 minute for just 1 minute. Holly, I didn't know how long you wanted to stay on, but it's up to you. So I'll continue as long as you wish to stay. It's an hour now. Okay.
So this is Sandra. I had a question regarding doing the W-4, the 1532, the 153500, and the 1099-A. If you submit all of those, would they not consider you like triple dipping?
They're the accountants. They're going to figure out who's double dipping on your account.
But if you're submitting all of this, so let's say a credit card statement, right? You do all your statements in a W-4, and you've put in all those numbers on the statements on the W-4 and added them all up, right? And then you go do the 1500, 3200, and you put all your receipts from the credit card on there as well. And then you go do a 1099-A for all the amount as well. It's like you're reclaiming it all back in three different forms. So it's like you're saying
two for sure. The 1099-A, I'm not sure if you're really reclaiming. You're just reporting to your principal. I'm not sure if that would be considered reclaiming. But the other two, I definitely see how that would be double dipping, and I think that's pretty much what the corporations are doing to us after we don't report and we abandon the credits. They do the exact same thing. Plus, they're hitting the account with the letter of credit, which is the application. Plus, they're billing, they're double dipping there. Plus, they're claiming the abandoned credits after we don't report them. So they're at least double dipping. So I don't see any controversy with reporting in more than one capacity.
Yeah. Okay. And then I guess if they're double dipping, what's wrong with us double dipping and getting it back, right?
I'd say send it to the IRS, let them figure it out.
Okay. And then with the W-4 process, I was looking at submitting a 1041V and a 1041 because I've submitted the SS4 to get an EIN for the estate number. And I've also submitted the SS4 to get a trust EIN number, but I haven't completed my trust yet. So my question is, would you, since you've you've got the EIN, why would someone not do the 1041 V and the 1041 regular?
I don't because the EIN exists from the social. So it all links back to the social.
So I get that, but then what if because you don't want to commingle. So if you've already claimed your estate and that you're representing your social as the estate or the trust, and then you get, like a refund on the social, and you mix the social into your, and then you go back into the private or the public with the social if you have a bank account not set up for the trust or the estate, etc.
It sounds like we need to direct our thinking to get paid to administer the estate. Is what my goal is, to get paid to administer my own estate. And I'm playing with that right now, but that's kind of advanced for this. But staying within the comfort zone would definitely be the W4 sandwich. And then I'm thinking about doing the K1 distribution, not the 1041, but I haven't filed that yet, but I do have it filled out. So that's essentially, I'm going to try to get the social paid for administering the estate.
With a K1.
That is what I have now, but that doesn't mean I won't change. I haven't submitted it.
Yeah. So you don't know anyone that's done the 1041 or 1041B?
There was a lady in the open mic who did the 1041 and got a huge tax bill. So I haven't done that. I've never done it, and I've had the estate for a long time.
Yeah. Okay. So she got no, that was you that did the 700 thing. Did she talk about it here, or do you remember who that was?
She did. It was a couple months back, and I can't remember who or if it was recorded, but that part stuck in my head. She got a pretty big bill. It may have been Susan and her daughter Tori. I hate to call them out, especially if I'm wrong, but
yeah. Okay. Because then I was thinking too, if you put on the 1041V, if you put a negative amount rather than a positive amount, right?
That's another thing that I'm playing with, is that negative amount.
Yeah. Okay. So you've had your estate EIN, but you're still doing it with your social security number on every document. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of playing with it too. I don't want to get a big bill either. Okay. That's all my questions. Thanks.
1041 doesn't have a withholding box as we were speaking, because I asked the same question to Smoking Baby, and he immediately came back and said, where are you going to specify the withholding amount on a 1041? There's no space for it, if I'm not wrong.
There is a space for a refund, though, where you request a refund. So that's how I was going to do it, is request a refund. And I think actually on the second page, I did see something there. I'll have to go back and look.
Can I ask a question about the Allonge? I'm really confused on that. The only example I've ever really seen didn't do anything with my condition that I'm in, but I'm just trying to figure out what exactly I'm supposed to be writing on that.
So the Allonge is the equivalent to an exhibit, only it's the financial banking definition or term for exhibit.
So I'm just putting in that who's the creditor, who's the lender, who's supposed to get paid, payable to, that kind of stuff. But it's just kind of a list more specifically or something.
I'm sorry, I didn't copy that.
I was just asking, is it kind of just a list of who who I'm making, it's who the security agreement is being made payable to.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Well, I was told to do an allonge on my car, my vehicle contract, and that contract was basically just made into a security, and so not a security agreement. I misspoke on that but a security that the allonge is just stating that I need to go and correct that and say that this security is supposed to be payable to this person or something like that.
The allonge is all the exhibits that I'm attaching, like the W4 would be an allonge, the 1040 would be an allonge, 1041 or the 1040V would be an allonge. Any sort of coupons or bills that I've accepted or, vouchers, those would all be allonges, just like an exhibit in court.
Okay.
Are you asking about, I apologize. Are you asking about like I want to say reassigning your contract or paying to the order of your car company? Like realigning it after you did the entire transaction?
Right, like what Smoking Baby was telling you and I about adding an allonge to it, sending it back to the dealership, make sure that it was kind of corrected, and make sure that the dealership knows that they're the only ones getting paid. They should have already collected and been paid for it.
Right. And I think that was to be done using like a promissory note, if I'm not mistaken. But just realigning and giving more instructions to the company about what you want done with the contract.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. I was listening to an earlier recording, and I wanted to know how do I get a validation letter? I was listening to another recording about student loans and three documents: getting a validation letter, a notice of default and dishonor, and then acceptance of default and dishonor. How do I get a debt validation letter? What's the process of doing that? And should I do that with these student loans first?
I would ask for a detailed accounting.
And I can just write that on just a Word document and ask them for that?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know in that video as well, there was a reference to like some examples being put in the files. I've looked and I can't find them. Was something like that put in there, or did I misunderstand?
Yeah, there's a lot of it in there. Smoking Baby posted a really good one that I pinned in the open mic. It was send me the detailed accounting, or else I'm going to assume this is my accounting is correct, right? And you're going to do your own accounting and see if they rebut it, see if they dispute it, get them disputing.
Okay. Thank you.
I gotta go, guys.
Goodbye.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much.
Bye, guys. It's been fun. Let's do it again. You're welcome.
Can't wait.
Good night. Me either.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right.
Hey, Iliaster, was that you who talked about the 1041?
Yes.
So if you go in on the 1041 in part 2, line 14, it says federal tax withholding and did you submit any 1099As on the second page. So there is a spot in there for it.
Well, do you think though it is because that sounds to me like the 1099s that we would be reporting as the borrower, maybe I imagine. So it is the inverse of what the 1040 would claim as a position on the 1099, I think. Because estate or EIN number is the employer, so it employs, right? We are filling the W-4 as the employee on behalf of the Social Security trust, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
if I'm thinking this right.
Yeah, you just sparked something in me to not want to do the 1041 now, because the 1041, if it's submitted by the estate, you're an executor of an estate. So if you're claiming now that the Social Security is dead, it is dead anyway, but if you're claiming it's no longer exists, then yes, the estate would then be responsible for.
Okay.
Yeah, you just sparked
All right.
something in me. So.
All right. We're going to cut the call off now. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'll contact you personally, Alistair. Cheerio.
Okay.
Thank you, Philip.
You're welcome. Let's do it again sometime soon.
Thanks.
Look
Good night.
forward
Thank
to
you.
it. Good night.
Good night. Bye.
You know, we can proceed this on the regular chat if you all want. Just head over there.
Yeah, I'm up.